Pride of Hiigaran. This is Captain Soban of the fleet, Farron Shah. Looks like you could use a hand. Attention all Sobani, pick your targets and engage.
Hello everyone, this is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard the Starship Normal Prize for another episode of Homeworld Tactical Fleet Simulator, where we're doing the Ship Showcase series. Today we will be taking a look at the different type of Corvettes that we can build in this mod. And before we get going, I have a few announcements. The first one, I don't know what it was. First one, I've hooked up my virtual reality system so I can play Skyrim in VR. I messed around with it for like a week to try to get all the mods working in that game. I've been streaming over on Twitch, so you guys can join me over there anytime. But for some reason, hooking up my virtual reality system like broke Homeworld 2. I don't know why. Because I wanted to record this a couple days ago, but every time I tried launching Homeworld Remastered and launch the mod through that, it would just crash. Like the game wouldn't even load. It's like the launcher would crash and then it would say play. I was like, okay, weird. So I tried reinstalling it, and I tried launching it manually, which launching manually did work, but launching it through the launcher just didn't work for some reason. I tried reinstalling the mod, nothing. What I ended up having to do was launch the Homeworld 2 remastered version, and then I was able to launch Homeworld 2, the original. I don't know why. It makes no freaking sense to me. The only thing I can think of why I had to do that was I tried launching Homeworld Remastered in VR just to see what would happen, and it would just crash the desktop. So I'm thinking doing something like that caused my Homeworld 2 installation to just be all wacky. So yeah, don't launch Homeworld Remastered in VR. Apparently, if you want to play the original Homeworld 2, it breaks it. I don't know why. So that's one announcement. Announcement number 2, check this out. If I hit this button, you could see the other computer. I finally got a HDMI, what do you call it? An HDMI to USB adapter so that I could hook that up to my software, or my recording software. So now we can see both computers at the same time, which is going to be fantastic when we do more Homeworld War videos, so we can see perspectives from both sides of the guys. So yeah, awesome. That was really, really fun to get used to. And there was a third announcement, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I don't remember what the third announcement was, so we're just going to continue. But figure it out. I might make a message in the video or add it in post or something. I don't remember what it was. But anyways, we're taking a look at the Corvettes today. All the different types of Corvettes that we can build in the Tactical Fleet Simulator mod for Homeworld 2. So, first up on our list, we have the light Corvettes. Oh, right, I remember what it was now. After I broke Homeworld 2, I wasn't able to record the EXE through OBS, which is what I use to record my videos. So I had to set it up to where it records my display instead of the EXE. There's a couple downsides to that. One, it takes more CPU power to record through the display than it does the EXE, which is fine. I have a pretty good CPU, and this game isn't that demanding, so it's not that big of a deal. But the second problem is since it's recording off of my monitor, if there's pop-ups and whatnot that come up from like people messaging me on Steam or whatever, you guys will see that. So yeah, so if there's some pop-ups in this video, then yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Now we're done for announcements. Let's actually do the video. So anyways, the first guy we have are light gunships, which we get in the original Homeworld. I believe these are the same light Corvettes that we get in that. There's nothing like really crazily modified about it, but we'll read about them anyways. So, light gunship, GTK-12, role anti-fighter, fighter sweeping ship. Subclass, light gunship. Tech level Mark 1, anti-fighter corvette. Engagement range, short. So these guys are designed to stay around the mothership or stay around the carrier or whatever it's defending. It's not really designed to go into deep space. The prerequisites, Corvette facility, very easy to build. We get these, I believe we get these on mission 2 when we unlock Corvette technology. And armament is 2 KAC-50 dual cannon 50mm autocannon turrets, which I remember from the last video. I believe the interceptors have one of those. The interceptor had a 35mm, so that's a little bit larger, and they're dual cannons. So It has 4 of those, so it has a lot more firepower than the interceptors. Strong versus fighters. Weak against corvettes, frigates, capital ships. It doesn't have a whole lot of firepower, so it's not really good against anything that's heavily armored. It's really just designed for fighter sweeps, as it says. Description. Light tactical gunship squadron armed with kinetic autocannon turrets for fighter sweep operations. Initially, gunships are vulnerable to fighter-launched MRM and SRM missiles. They are more useful on the initial merge for saturating enemy fighter engagements and dogfights. So they're more designed to just create more firepower and fighting large groups of fighters. But if a fighter specializes against corvettes, then they're useless against them because the missiles will get through the armor and do massive damage to them. Interesting. Very interesting. So that's the light gunships, the first gunship that we can build. Next we have the Pulsar gunship, which is the other gunship that is part of the main Homeworld 2 game. And again, I believe we get this on Mission 2 when we unlock Corvettes. Or we might get them on Mission 3. It's possible we might get them on Mission 3 at the very beginning. So Pulsar gunship, roll anti-Corvette because of the giant pulse laser on top of it. Subclass medium gunship. So it requires Mark 1 anti-Corvette Corvette technology, which is an interesting thing to say. Engagement range short, same as the Corvettes. They're mainly just designed to defend the fleet, not designed to go on like a long-range mission. Prerequisites: Corvette facility, armament 1 PIC 600 pulse ion turret, and that means that is a 600 megawatt pulse ion cannon. That is a lot of freaking power. For those of you that don't know how much power that is, that's about the power equivalent to 2 fully active nuclear reactors. That's a lot of freaking power. So it's strong versus corvettes, platforms, and resource collectors. So basically, utility ships or utility things that are very slow and non-maneuverable, and other corvettes because it's designed to kill Corvette class ships. It's okay or mediocre against frigates, carriers, and destroyers. So it has enough maneuverability to outmaneuver destroyers' heavy cannons, carriers as long as it's not armed, and frigates that aren't really designed to fight corvettes. But they're weak against fighters because the pulse turret is very slow, so it's hard for it to target fast-moving fighters. And of course, anti-Corvette frigates, frigates that are designed to kill corvettes, and of course battle cruisers because they can't do the firepower to take down large capital ships. Description: medium tactical gunship squadron with a single pulse ion turret, making it effective in an anti-Corvette, anti-resource operation, and static defense suppression roles. Several squadrons can be effective against frigates and capital ships. So in small groups, they're good against fighting other ships that are Corvette class and doing small raids against enemies harvesting operations. In large groups, they're good against frigates and even capital ships, like the small ones, like destroyers. So I primarily use these guys as Corvette role, like anti-Corvette role. Like if I see the enemy that has a bunch of Corvettes coming in, then I use my resources to build a large group of these to try to counter them. Okay, and next we get the Escort gunship, which is probably my favorite gunship on the Hiigaran side because it looks like a multi-gun gunship. It's got all of these powerful kinetic turrets all around it. This one we get kind of later in the game. It's been a while since I did the campaign, so I don't exactly remember when we get this. I think it's Mission 4. It's either Mission 4 or Mission 5. I'm thinking Mission 4. But anyways, Escort gunship, the GTK-14. Roll anti-fighter. This is basically your upgraded version of the light Corvette. Tech level, Mark II anti-fighter Corvette, engagement range short. It's an escort ship, so it's designed to stay around the fleet, not designed to go on its own adventures. Prerequisite: Corvette facility and advanced research module. Armament: 4 KAC 50 dual 50mm autocannon turrets. So it has double the amount of turrets that the light gunship has. Double the firepower for double the fun. Strong versus fighters and bombers. This is your most powerful. Also, I love the engines on this thing. I like how the engines are on the side. It doesn't actually have any engines in the back. That's pretty cool. It's like, the back looks like a loading dock where they probably load all the ammo for all these turrets, because I'm sure they're going to be shooting very quickly. But strong versus fighters and bombers, mediocre versus light corvettes. So it's okay against like something like a light gunship or a Pulsar. Actually, Pulsar is considered medium class, aren't they? Yeah. So these would be good, like okay against like the smaller gunships, because they have a lot of turrets, and if they all track like a small gunship, it can easily like pound down the hull and kill it. But it's not really designed for a role like that. It's weak against anti-corvette corvettes and frigates and capital ships. So anything that is designed to kill corvettes, this thing is going to lack against, because it doesn't have the firepower to take them down. And against larger capital ships, because all it has are just a fast-moving kinetic cannon turrets. Kind of like how the multi-gun corvette in Homeworld 1 is really only good against fighters and useless against everything else, because it doesn't have the firepower to take down the armor of larger ships. This has the same exact role. So this guy is basically your main anti-fighter escort ship for like your larger ships. That's what I like to use it for. I'll have like a squadron, like maybe 3 or 4 squadrons of these defending a destroyer or a battle cruiser. And so when the enemy brings in like a large group of bombers, I can send these guys out to take care of them. That's typically how I like to use these guys. And then next we have our Plasma Corvette, which this one we get late in the campaign. I think it's like, I want to say it's probably like mission 9 or mission 10. We get this guy really late in the campaign, but he's pretty cool. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. But Plasma Corvette CTB-12. Unit class or unit role anti-capital ship. This is your main like bomber class for Corvette class ships. Subclass attack Corvette or strike Corvette. It's designed to do like alpha strikes. Tech level NA, doesn't require research level or anything. Engagement range short, same as the other Corvettes. Prerequisites: Corvette facility, advanced research module, and advanced Corvette chassis. So you get this late in the campaign. Armament 4 PBL 1250 plasma bomb launchers. That is 1.25 gigawatt, I believe, because that's a power rating. 1.25 gigawatt plasma bomb. 4 of them. That's 6 gigawatts altogether. That's a lot of power to be launching energy cannons at people. And it has one SRM-6 missile turret, which I believe is 6 kilotons. I think that's how they measure missiles in this world or universe. So obviously, because of that, it is very strong against capital ships and frigates. The plasma bombs are really heavy, so they're very slow. So anything that is very fast moving, they're going to be completely useless against. So this guy, it will be 100% useless against fighters and corvettes. It's mediocre versus subsystems. The plasma bombs do enough damage where they can probably disable like the production facility on a carrier or wipe out a research facility on the mothership. So that's a pretty cool bonus. And it's weak against fighters and corvettes because the weapons can't keep up with their speed. Description: Bomber class Corvette squadron armed with heavy plasma bomb launchers. It is less vulnerable to hull defense weapons than fighter class bombers. Its 4 heavy plasma bomb launchers have significantly greater energy discharge than the standard BF-16A bomb launchers. That's true. Let's see how much those actually have against the tactical bomb launcher. Oh yeah, because they're 600 megawatt and 900 megawatt. Yeah, they are much more powerful. Indeed, and that's a lot more heavily armored, but it's also a lot slower too. So those are just things you have to think of when developing your fleet in this mod, and which unit you want to use as your main anti-capital ship killer. So yeah, this guy will obviously be very vulnerable against anti-corvette defenses, so yeah, you just have to take all that in mind, which is what I like about this mod. But yeah, there's the 4 plasma bomb launchers, and there's the missile rack on top. Pretty cool Corvette. You only get a squadron of 3. So yeah, Just have to use them wisely. Now next we have the heavy gunship, which I believe is the last gunship you unlock in the campaign. This one's like near the end, like mission maybe 13 or 12, somewhere around there. It's the last one you unlock, I know that for sure. But the heavy gunship, roll, let's see, what does it have? It looks like it has pulsar gun, has pulsar weapons, and flak cannons. So, need heavy gunship, anti-corvette, anti-fighter, subclass heavy corvette. Lots and lots of armor for a Corvette class ship. Tech level Mark II anti-corvette Corvette. Engagement range short. Again, supposed to be used to stay around the fleet, not really designed to go out and cause havoc. Prerequisites: Corvette facility, advanced research module, advanced Corvette chassis, and the GTH-17 tech. 4 tech requirements. In the armament, it comes with 2 PLC 75 RF laser cannons, so that's 75 megawatt laser cannons. Dude, I don't exactly know where those are. I thought they were actually on top. 2 MRM-18 launchers, that is 18 kiloton missile launchers. Dude, oh, that might be the laser cannon right there. Kind of hard to tell in this light I have going on. We also have 2 PIC 450 dual pulse ion cannons. That's 450 megawatt dual pulse ion cannons. So that's the one on top, and that's one on bottom. This thing has a lot more weapons than I thought. And then 4 KAC-50 dual 50 millimeter flak cannons. That's these around here. So it has dual laser cannons, which are, I guess they're up here in front, and then it has the missile launcher too, which might be in back somewhere. So a very heavily armed gunship. Strong versus corvettes and fighters. That's what it's designed to fight. It's mediocre versus corvettes and frigates. My bad. It's mediocre versus fighters, which is weird because it's a role of anti-corvette and anti-fighter. I guess it must be like, it should say like heavy fighters, not just fighters. Light fighters, I'm pretty sure this thing can tear apart. And then mediocre versus capital ships because it doesn't have the firepower to take down large ships. Weak versus anti-corvette fighters and anti-corvette frigates. So it's really strong. It's strong against, I would say, light fighters, or I would say it's strong versus heavy fighters, corvettes, and frigates. Weak versus light fighters and capital ships. I would say it's weak versus light fighters because they would have enough speed and maneuverability to outrun the flak cannons. Or it might be backwards. I don't know. The point is, it's strong and okay against fighters. It doesn't really specify which type. Description: heavy tactical gunship squadron capable of performing multiple roles. It is most potent at dispersing other corvettes and fighters, and carries an onboard frigate-class hyperdrive module. This is the unique thing about this ship. You can actually use it to hyperspace to certain areas. I believe if I hit... I don't have the research yet, but I believe there's a research you can get to put a hyperdrive on, and you can hyperspace these gunships of where you want them to go. So they are heavily armed, have high firepower, and can go in... on and like surprise the enemy, but like hyperspacing near the resource collectors, killing them, and then hyperspacing away. Kind of just cause a little havoc and whatnot. But yeah, that should say strong versus corvettes and fighters, and then mediocre versus frigates and capital ships. That's what it should say. I don't know why it says strong versus or weak versus, or mediocre versus fighters. So that's a little weird. Okay. So now we have one more Corvette to take a look at, and that is our Mindlayer Corvette, which is from the original game, and I believe this gets unlocked in like mission 4. So Mindlayer Corvette, unit role fleet aerial denial ship. I love that. I love the fact that his role is denial, area denial. Like his exact role in the mod is to deny the enemy access to a certain area of the map. I love that. Subclass Logistics Corvette. Tech level, doesn't require anything. Engagement range short, again, stays around the fleet. Prerequisites: Corvette Facility Advanced Research Module, a CTS-14 gravitic mines. We'll just say that. So it comes with a couple defenses on itself, though. So it comes with a 1 KAC-75, which is a 75mm dual turret, which launches a KAC-75 kinetic shells at 2.2 kilometers, and then a PAC-75 proximity burst shell at 5 kilometers, which I believe is more effective against fighters. So it does have some basic, it does have a basic turret defense on itself. It's pretty cool. It comes with one gravitic mine deployment system. I was hoping to say it would say like how much TNT that the mine deploys. Strong versus capital ship, frigates, and missiles. Ah, so this thing can actually shoot down missiles. I did not know that. That's probably what the proximity burst cannon is for. Indeed, and the kinetic cannon is good for like fighting off of like a handful of fighters. And then mediocre versus nothing, and weak against fighters and corvettes. Like it might just be just an anti-missile deterrent then, instead of a anti-fighter ship. So that gives us a dual role system. So you can use a Mindlayer Corvette to deploy a bunch of mines around an area you want to protect, or you could build a handful of these to use them as anti-missile ships to try to wipe out the fusion missiles from the Vega. Interesting. I didn't know about that. I didn't build this in the campaign, so I didn't really experiment with it. Description: auxiliary corvette capable of setting up minefields, serves a secondary role of anti-missile defense and clearing enemy minefields with proximity burst shells. Okay. So it uses the proximity burst shell to destroy enemy mines, so you don't take any damage from mines, and then has the kinetic cannon for shooting down missiles when they're coming in. And then it can deploy its own stuff. So yeah, I like the fact that they actually expanded the Mindlayer Corvette's capabilities. Instead of just being a mine-laying ship, it's also a fleet defense ship. Sweet. Good to know. Next time I play a campaign, I'm definitely going to mess with this. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Yeah, that's all of the Hiigaran Corvettes that you can build in this mod, and what they're good against, what they're bad against, what they look like. Yeah, so pretty darn cool. I think out of all the Corvettes, my favorite is definitely the Escort gunship. I like ships that are just outdecked with like ridiculous amount of guns, and I like the fact they don't do a whole lot of damage. So it's like if you're fighting a frigate, you just have all of this firepower going off, and the frigate's health would just like be slowly going down, and they'll look at you and just wipe out your fleet because they're good against you and you're not. I don't know. I love that concept. I've always enjoyed the multi-gun Corvette in Homeworld 1 because of the fact there's a bunch of guns on it. So the concept of the escort gunship is really good to me, or makes me really happy, I should say. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like if you did. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. Let me go ahead and do this real quick before... there we go. And we'll have our thumbnail for today's episode. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like if you did. If you like what I do, consider subscribing, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. Until then, this is Captain Soban signing out.
The Vega have arrived. Emergency hyperspace procedures initiated.